Parents, your teen isn't struggling with motivation. They're struggling with confidence. My name is Tashawn Fernando. I'm a high school teacher and teenage life coach, and everything in this video comes from working with real teenagers both inside and outside of the classroom. And by the end, you're going to know how motivation really works inside of a teenager's brain. 3 ways that you can increase their confidence by this week, and a 5-step script that you can literally read to them to help with issues of confidence. Teenagers are always motivated, just not always to do what we want them to do. They're highly motivated to do things that they know are going to make them feel good, like social media, video games, friends. Why? Because they're confident in the payoff of those activities. The things that we want teens to do, school, healthy habits, putting themselves out there, are also rewarding. Teens know that. But the question they're asking themselves is, can I actually do this well enough for it to be worth it? They know that school can improve a life. They're unsure if school can improve their life. And this is the core struggle of being a teenager. Everybody keeps pointing at the next mountain saying, if you could just make it up there, that's where the good stuff is. But they haven't lived enough life or developed enough skill to know that they can climb it. And your job as a parent is to help them get over that first hill so that the confidence they develop along the way is enough to take them the rest of the way. To understand why confidence matters so much, we first have to understand what motivation is and what it isn't. Motivation comes down to 2 variables: the reward, which is what the teen wants, and the cost, which is what they have to do to get it. And whether a teen feels motivated comes down to one simple question: is the cost worth the reward? So as a parent, if you want to increase your teen's motivation, you really only have 2 options. You can either increase the reward, which is what we do every time we bribe a child, or you can decrease the cost. Take public speaking. On the surface, the cost seems fixed, because at the end of the day, they're going to have to get up in front of a crowd and say something, which seems terrifying. But fear is great at blowing vague problems way out of proportion, because public speaking is not one big scary task. It's, in reality, a process. And it starts with writing something decent, and then practicing it a little bit, and then getting a little feedback. And as you take the process from vague to clear, the cost drops. And when the cost drops, motivation goes up. But motivation and action are not the same thing. Everyone has experienced before feeling motivated but still unable to act. And teenagers are no different. Every teen is quietly asking themselves the same question: do I actually believe I can do this? And that question, confidence, is the silent killer of progress. I was 15 when I realized I wanted to be a life coach, but I didn't act on that desire for almost 10 years. Not because I wasn't motivated, but because I didn't believe that I could figure it out all on my own. Everything changed for me after I went to my first life coaching convention. Because in one weekend, I met hundreds of life coaches, regular people who had built real businesses. And all of a sudden, this thing that had seemed so impossible for so long suddenly felt doable. By the end of the convention, I'd canceled all of my school applications. By the end of the week, I made my first piece of social media content. And after only 2 months, I'd been hired by 4 new clients. I didn't need more motivation. I needed proof that it was possible for someone like me. That's what's happening with your teen. It's not that they don't want it. It's that they don't yet believe they can earn it. And that belief, or lack thereof, changes everything. So the next natural question becomes, how do you actually build confidence? Later, I'll give you my 5-question script that I use with my students to help with that. But the honest answer is, it depends on the teen. There are a lot of ways to build confidence in a teen, but these are the 3 strategies that have worked again and again, both in my classroom and in the real world. First, narrow the scope. Confidence collapses when the task feels too big. So instead of focusing on the whole goal, help your teen focus on just the next easiest step. If they're avoiding a 1,500-word essay, narrow the scope. Just get the first paragraph down. Ask yourself, does my teen really know what the next step is, or are they just thinking about the final product? Second, increase the repetitions. Confidence comes from competence. When test season rolls around, It isn't necessarily the smartest students that are the least anxious, it's the most prepared students. If your kid panics before math tests, do 5 math questions a night with you standing beside them. If it's the time element that freaks them out, then time them. Ask yourself, has my teen done this enough times to where they're just absolutely bored by it? Third, don't let them do it alone. The strongest predictor of follow-through when trying to accomplish anything is having somebody alongside you. If your teen struggles with homework, sit next to them while they're working and work on your own stuff. If they're trying to build a healthy habit with them. Ask yourself, who could do this with them? And if no one, how could I be that person for them? When you start stacking these strategies together, confidence can change fast. That's exactly what happened with one of my students. Let's call him Austin. Every teacher has that one kid. And for me, that kid was Austin. He would always show up late, be super disruptive for the class, and he didn't really seem to care about his grades. And I tried all the usual fixes, the referrals and the constant reminders, and nothing really seemed to work. So I changed tactics. I realized that underneath all of the behavior problems was just a kid who wanted to be recognized. And because he wasn't naturally good at school, he had just found other ways to get the attention he needed. So instead of pushing harder, I focused on building his confidence. First, I narrowed the scope, and we just focused on getting him to class on time. I taught him strategies for timeliness, and I rewarded him when he would show up early. Second, we increased the repetitions. I gave him work that I knew he could succeed at, and I kept feeding him work that was right at the edge of what I already knew he could do, and slowly increased the difficulty as his confidence grew. And third, I made sure he didn't do it alone. I became his partner in progress, not just somebody that was managing him, but someone that was walking alongside him. I made sure to consistently check on him during class, and I helped him with his goals outside of class too. And over time, everything, including our relationship, changed. He started showing up to class early. He would regulate his own behavior. He would even ask for extra work. Austin went from an F to an A in 1 semester. But the real win was that he finally believed that he could succeed at school. Wherever your teen is at right now, whether they're doing great or stuck in a rut, progress is always possible. And before we end, I want to give you one simple tool that you can use the next time your teen gets stuck. This is the exact script I use with my students when they get stuck. And it works because it diagnoses what's actually getting in the way and avoids unnecessary conflict. So here are the 5 questions. Number 1, do you know what you need to do next? A lot of times conflict arises because we assume a teenager is being defiant when they really just don't actually know what they need to do next. Parents, your ability to break down a problem into steps is really going to be of value here. Number 2, do you know how to do it? If they don't, then they have a skill gap. And help can come from you, it can come from a teacher, a friend, or most commonly nowadays, the internet. Number 3, do you know when it needs to be done by? Sometimes tasks come with a predefined deadline, like in school. A lot of times they don't, in which case it's really important to come up with one. Either way, your accountability here as a parent is really going to be of value if this is the issue. Number 4, did you want to do it? Now we're back to the question of reward versus cost. And if the cost isn't worth the reward for the teen, then you have to have a conversation about how you can change that. Number 5, was something blocking you? If something is blocking them, it's usually something simple, like they just need a pencil or a quiet place to work, or they need a ride. Teenagers sometimes they need help removing friction. In real life, this sort of conversation sounds something like this. Hey, you didn't get your homework done last night. Let's figure out why so it doesn't happen again. Did you know that you had homework? Did you know how to do the homework? Did you know that you had it last night and that is due today? Did you want to do your homework? Was something stopping you from doing your homework? This sort of structured conversation keeps the progress moving and helps the teenager build confidence because you're also teaching them how to solve their own problems at the same time. Your teen isn't broken or lazy. And most of the time, they're not even lacking in motivation. They're lacking in confidence. But wherever things are right now with them, there's good news because confidence is buildable. And as a parent, you have real ways you can support it. If you want everything from this video in one place so you can use it with your teen tonight, I put the 3 confidence strategies in the 5-question script into a 1-page teen confidence cheat sheet. It's free. You can grab it through the link in the description below. And if this was helpful, I'll be making more deep dives just like this for parents of teens. Thanks for watching.